Hello everyone, and welcome to Human Biology Online, Biology 109. I am your professor, Kelly Roberts, and this is your orientation session. So a couple of things that we're going to do in this orientation session, this PowerPoint that you can also find on Blackboard in the Start Here folder. This PowerPoint is going to be designed for you to be successful in not just this online class, but for any online class. We're also going to go over your course syllabus, and we're going to also go over Blackboard and your McGraw-Hill Connected, which is where you'll find all of your homework, quiz assignments, as well as your final and your midterm exam. So without further ado, welcome back. Happy spring. It doesn't feel like spring yet, but it's a beautiful January morning. And welcome to St. Louis Community College. So a couple of tips on being successful in an online class. There are about 10 or 13 tips that we have here, is that you want to make sure that you start the semester off on the right foot. Now, for those of you all that are viewing this orientation session, and for those of you all that have started to look at your syllabus and go through Blackboard, when I opened Blackboard up last week, you're already starting the semester off right. You want to use the first few days of the semester to really kind of organize yourself and evaluate what the course is going to require from you, evaluate what your work and family life is going to look like, and make sure that you schedule time for yourself to become familiar with the expectations of the course as well as the expectations of your professor. So we're going to be doing a lot of that today with the expectations I have for you and what the expectations are in the course for you to be successful. Also, you want to make sure as a part of that evaluation process that you are embracing the syllabus. So what I mean by that is that you want to make sure that you are going through that syllabus with a fine-tooth comb to be sure that you understand all of the assignments and requirements that are asked of you in order to be successful. That includes due dates, how you're going to be graded, how you can contact your professor, when assignments are going to be assigned, when they're due, when your midterm is, when your final is, what are the stipulations for your midterm and your final, are there bonus points that are awarded, how are they awarded? So a lot of questions that students have at the very beginning of a semester, even throughout the semester, as it pertains to how the class is managed, a lot of that information can be found in your syllabus. So as the PowerPoint says here, don't just file it away, don't just throw it away, don't just use it as the lining of your guinea pig cage. Make sure that you use your syllabus as a guide, because that is the guide that we professors use to kind of steer the course. Because this is an online class, you want to make sure that you are a master of multimedia. What we mean by that is you want to make sure that you're able to use all different types of media in a technological sense. So for any students using this Blackboard Collaborate, making sure, and there's several videos that I have posted and instructions that I have posted on how to log into Blackboard Collaborate, make sure that you can use that. Every semester technology changes, so an online course that you may have taken 2 years ago or maybe just even 2 semesters ago may not have some of the same interfaces, forum, video conferencing, message boards that this one will have. So make sure that you're familiar with all different types of media. Anytime that I give you a new type of media like Blackboard Collaborate, I will do my best to give you all the instructions for how to use it properly. So make sure that you're familiar with this type of technology so that you can thrive. A lot of your homework assignments will have embedded videos in them to help you better understand the concept, as well as you have an ebook if you chose to purchase the ebook with the course. It also has a lot of videos and a lot of animations that you can use that can be helpful for you. So you want to make sure that you can use all of these tools and resources that are available to you. If at any point in time you do have trouble with Blackboard Collaborate or you do have trouble with any of the multimedia, don't hesitate to contact our IT department here on campus. That's their job, is to make sure that you can access these different types of videos and different types of, especially for Blackboard and Blackboard Collaborate, these different types of tools. Create a safe place for your studies. It's very easy when you take an online course to just kind of open up your laptop in the middle of the park and just go to town on what you're working on. That's the beauty of an online course. But at the same time, it can also create sort of a haphazard type of study schedule where you don't really have a study schedule, so things can start to roll out of your control very quickly. Now, that's not to say that you can't decide that the safe place for your studies is in the park, but you want to make sure that you're very consistent. Since all of your work is going to be done away from the traditional classroom, you want to make sure that you have a safe study spot that you can always go to for your notes, for your books, that is quiet, that is distraction-free. Having an office or even just a desk space or coming to the library at the same time every day. It doesn't have to be the Merrimack Library. It could be your local public library, or if you have a home office or even in your room, wherever it may be, you want to make sure that you stay organized so that everything that you'll be requiring to complete an assignment, your textbook, your notes, your computer, because your lectures are always going to be available to you online. You want to make sure that's available for you. So yes, it's really cool and nice and flexible that you can do your homework assignments outside and you can listen to lectures outside or wherever it is you are and listen to them on the go in the car or at the gym. But you also want to keep in mind that this information you are going to be tested and quizzed on, so you want to make sure that you are putting yourself in a setting that will allow you to be receptive of that information in the best way. Achieve family-school balance. Now, that's not just true for online classes. That's also true for your face-to-face or what we call your brick-and-mortar classes. When you're learning at home, it can be especially difficult to make sure that you're balancing your assignments and the needs of your family and the needs of your partner and your children. So make sure that you schedule to do homework assignments and to post message boards and to take quizzes and to take exams at a time when you're not necessarily going to be needed by other people in your house. Now, I can speak from experience for that because I have 4 children and a husband, and it is sometimes very difficult to do work when everybody is at home. So sometimes I have to wait until nap time to maybe get things done, or I have to wait until they're all at school or at their friend's house. I wouldn't dare try to work on an assignment or to work on a quiz or to work on any project in the middle of dinner or right after dinner, because right after dinner there's the dishes that have to be done. Sometimes you might have to wait until the children go to sleep. So, and it just depends on what works best for your schedule. If your kids are really small, maybe nap time is a good time. If your kids are older and they're in school, maybe as soon as they walk out of the door for the bus or you drop them off, maybe that's a good time for you. You kind of have to just find that balance because you want to be successful in school, because if you have a family, a lot of the reason that you're going to school is because you want to earn a degree so that you can increase the amount of income that you're bringing into the household so that your family benefits. So it's like you're doing this for your family, right? But at the same time, you don't want to neglect the needs of your family either, because they're there for you and you're there for them, and you don't want to just completely put them on the back burner for an entire semester or an entire year or two while you're obtaining your degree. So you want to find that balance, making sure that you have family time as well as you have time for your studies. And trust me, it can be done. Also, be sure to play off your strengths. Although this is an online course and your textbook and your notes will always be available to you, your finals and midterm exams are going to be timed, so you won't have a chance to look up every single answer. So you want to make sure that you learn this in the same manner that you would learn it in a face-to-face class. So if you use flashcards or note card reviews, or if you use Quizlet, which is an online service that's free to students. There's some parts you might have to pay for, but the basic package is free for students to make your own little quizzes and tests and things like that. Make sure that you're still using those tools in order to be successful in this class as well. So if you've always been a flashcarder, stay being a flashcarder. Use those flashcards to make sure that you understand those concepts and you learn the pathway of blood through the heart or whatever it is that you're going to be tested over for the week. If you're a person that relies on using your notes to review for math, then go ahead and do that as well. Also, each week you will have a discussion board that's due. You're going to become a respected discussion board participant. On the online class chat or our discussion boards is really the only way that we have collaboration with one another in a classroom, quote-unquote, setting. So you want to make sure that you're answering the question on the discussion board first and foremost, and then you want to make sure that you're responding to your classmates as well. So when you respond to your classmates, I want you to communicate effectively and I want you to communicate seriously. So we're going to to treat this discussion board as if we are having face-to-face conversations with our peers and our classmates. So no yelling at each other, don't be lax with grammar, saying things like BTW, which is completely fine if you're texting your friends, is not acceptable in an academic setting, which means by the way. Using those types of slang and lingo is just not acceptable in an academic setting, because we're going to just treat this discussion board in the same manner that if we were face-to-face talking. So no yelling, no profanity. Speak to your peers and your professors in a professional manner in much the same way that you would address your peers or your professor, myself, if we were standing and looking at each other face-to-face. Also, harness the power of Google. There will be some times that you're just not familiar with what a term is in your textbook, and maybe your textbook doesn't have a definition in the back of it. So maybe you might have to Google that information or look it up. That's perfectly fine, because this is an online class, and Google does have a wealth of information out there. The one thing you want to be careful of is that you can't take all information as being truthful information. So sometimes you might have to wade through a couple of websites and make sure that you're getting a general consensus of what the correct answer is. So go to website A, if it says this is the correct answer, go to another website B, and if it says the same thing as the correct answer, and you find a trend of that, then you can feel safe that you have good information. But I am not one of those professors that says, do not use Google at all, do not use the internet to look up information. It's perfectly fine. I'm more concerned with the process of learning. And if you learn it out of your textbook, or if you learn it from a YouTube video, as long as we get there, we get to the end game, then I'm perfectly happy. So there's a ton and a wealth of really good information online. It's just that some of it you have to kind of wade through to make sure that it's the correct information. Always know how to ask for help. Although you won't be working with me face-to-face all the time, I do have office hours on campus, and you're more than welcome to continue during my office hours. I'll have those posted by the end of the week. It's very important for us to build a relationship. Answering emails, I'll always answer your emails within 48 hours. During the weekdays, Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends, usually within 72 hours, I'll get those answered for you. Never hesitate to email me if you have a question on an assignment, or if you have a question about a lecture or anything of that nature, because that's what I'm here for, is to provide this information to you. So communicate early, communicate often. Don't wait until you're taking the midterm or you're taking the final to say, I really didn't understand the regeneration of the skin. That's not a great time to do that, because it's just, at that point, you're kind of squeezing yourself into a position that you're going to be super stressed and waiting for getting this answer. And it might take a couple of times for me explaining this to you before you actually get it. So as soon as you find that you're not understanding something, one tool I have my students do, in the same way that you would take notes in a face-to-face class, and if you came into something that you didn't understand, you'd raise your hand and ask your professor for more clarification. While you're listening to the notes that are recorded online, I want you to take notes in the same way, and then if you have a question, pause it, and then immediately write down that question. And then once you're done with the lecture, then send me an email with all of those questions that you may have. I have found that students that tend to do that are always extremely successful in an online course, because they're treating it in the same manner as you would a face-to-face. The only difference is that they have more flexibility. And finally, stay motivated. The very beginning of the semester is kind of like your New Year's resolutions, right? Everyone is super excited, they're super motivated to start off with, and then around February, March, kind of after spring break, we start to slow down. So you start to feel kind of burned out. Online learning period, is an endurance sport. So when you start to feel burned out and tired and you really can't stare at the screen anymore, give yourself a break. Everyone has good days, everyone has bad, not so good days. So give yourself a break. Say, oh, I'm done with this. If you have several online courses, it can be very daunting and very tiring to look at a screen for hours and hours on end. Take a break from it. And then remember why you decided to take this course. Well, I need this course in order to get my degree. Well, I need this course because I want to see if I really want to go into nursing or medicine. So kind of keep in mind your reasons or your initial motivational factors that allowed you or steered you to take this course. So staying motivated is a daily process. Motivation at the beginning is very easy. Motivation at the end is also pretty easy. It's the middle part. It's the mile. If we're talking about a marathon, we're talking about mile 5 through mile 25. That's the hard part there. So make sure that you find ways to kind of internally motivate and inspire and keep yourself going so that you can finish this online class successful. Every week you have a discussion board, a quiz, and a homework assignment that are due. You want to make sure that you get those things done every single week. If you start to fall behind, it's going to be difficult to play catch up and try to stay on top of your studies as we go through the semester. So any questions that you may have about that presentation, please feel free to email me about them. Next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to look over our syllabus. So I'm going to share my computer with you so that we can all look at the syllabus together. While I'm doing that, I want you guys to open up your syllabus as well. So the syllabus can be found in the Start Here folder on Blackboard. All right, so you should be able to see your syllabus. And this is the exact same document that you have. I just downloaded it from our Blackboard course. So a couple of things about your syllabus. This is a 3-credit-hour class. There is no lab. You probably know all of this because you've registered for it. My name's Kelly Roberts and where my office is located. The best way to contact me is through email. I'm having some phone issues with my messages, so if you leave me a voice message, there's no guarantee that I will get it in a timely manner, so the best way to contact me is through email, and that's listed right here. Our textbook, ISBN number, and the edition of it. Now, if you have an older edition of the textbook, like the 12th or 13th edition, you're more than welcome to use it. However, you must have the updated 14th edition of the subscription to McGraw-Hill Connect. If you purchase your textbooks from the bookstore, you will already have that information. If you go online to either McGraw-Hill Connect or to Amazon or Overstock or any of those other textbook retailers out there, I can't think of them all at the top of my head right now, they make sure that you're getting the 4th edition for the subscription to McGraw-Hill Connect. If you're one of those new age students that doesn't really require a paper textbook, you can purchase your subscription to McGraw-Hill Connect and then purchase the ebook with it. And that's going to save you quite a bit of money. I think the ebook and the subscription to McGraw-Hill Connect where your assignments are on, I think that bundle might be $70, whereas the bundle that we sell here on campus might be a little bit more expensive. So there are several options. You can get an older edition of the textbooks for like 20 or 30 bucks and then pay for the subscription to McGraw-Hill Connect for $60, or you can buy the whole thing at the bookstore for whatever they're charging for it, or you can go to McGraw-Hill Connect and buy the subscription, the ebook, and the subscription to McGraw-Hill Connect for your assignments, or you can buy the whole kit and caboodle from Amazon, or you can buy it from any of these other online book retailers. So there is some wiggle room. Just make sure that you have the 14th edition for the subscription to McGraw-Hill Connect. Description of this course, I'm only going to read the first sentence of this. I'll let you all read the rest of it. The goal of this course is to provide a sound foundation in selected biological topics as they pertain to the human specimen. A lot of students that take this course, they take it because they need a 3-hour biology course in the human body. It seems quite fascinating. There are some students that take this course as sort of a refresher or as a primer because they're going into nursing or to medicine, so they want to kind of have a little bit of an introduction into the human body before they take a really hardcore class like anatomy and physiology. So there are lots of different reasons why students may take this course. As far as course objectives, I will not read all of those. I'll let you read those For course organization, this course is divided into 1-week sections. At each section we will cover, each week we will cover one chapter. So week 1 we'll cover chapter 1, week 2 we'll cover chapter 2, and so forth. We will get through that entire textbook. So it seems like it's moving at a very fast pace. It is, because we're covering one chapter a week. Essentially, what that's allowing us to do is for you to get a broad introduction to all 11 organ systems in the human body. In A&P, we only cover about half of those organ systems in A&P 1, and then the other half in A&P 2. So clearly we're going to be going into much more depth in anatomy and physiology. So for what you're learning here is more surface level sorts of introductory information. So that's why we'll be able to go through the entire textbook for the most part. I think there's 1 or 2 chapters that I cut out. Each week you will have an assigned reading, and that will be covering that chapter. A Learn Smart module, which is bonus. I do recommend that you do them, A, because it's free points, and B, because it helps you to really understand the information and it helps you to recognize what you don't understand. So I recommend doing those Learn Smart modules. You also have recorded lecture notes. As we go through the semester, I may be changing those notes a little bit. If whatever changes I make, I will post and let you all know about them. But as they stand, they're perfectly beautiful notes to go by. And then you have a homework assignment, a quiz assignment, and a discussion board. So each week, there are 3 items that are due to you. The reading and the listening to the lecture notes and the Learn Smart module, those are all activities that you should do prior to completing your homework and prior to completing your quiz assignments. Your quiz assignment is not timed, but your final and your midterm will be timed. So your 2 exams, your final and your midterm, your final is going to be right before spring break. I'm sorry, your midterm is right before spring break, and then your final is going to happen the week of finals. I think it's the middle, I think it's that Wednesday, I have it scheduled there. Those you have 2 hours, much the same way that you have 2 hours in your face-to-face classes. How well you do in your quizzes, your exams, and your discussion boards, that's going to be what determines your grade. I would suggest putting at least 3 to 5 hours aside a week for this class, and I would expect to be on the computer doing something, whether it's listening to a lecture, whether it is doing a Learn Smart module, your homework, your quiz, your discussion board. I would expect to be on the computer at a minimum of 5 days a week. For your discussion boards, how you'll be graded on those, you have to respond at least twice during the week. Your initial response is answering the question that I posed in the discussion board, and then your response has to be to another classmate. That's all going to be due by Sunday, 11:59 Central Standard Time. I know I have some students that are on the East Coast or the West Coast. Everything that has a due date, any due date for things are always going to be Central Standard Time, so that could work to your advantage. Also, spelling and grammar count, so make sure that you use spell check. Each one of your discussion board postings is worth 5 points. And that includes both your response and your initial posting. If you do not post to a classmate, then you automatically lose half of those points. So responding to your classmates is very important. Assignments are going to need to be, you'll find those through McGraw-Hill Connect, and I will show you that in just a second. A list of those assignments are found in the assignment section on Blackboard in those weekly modules. Your assignments are worth 10 points, and any assignments that are late are going to be reduced by 50% for each day they're late. So if the assignment is due on Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you don't turn it in until Monday, then the assignment that was worth 10 points, even if you get everything correct, is not only going to be worth 5 points. And if it's 2 days late, then it's only going to be worth half of 5 points, which is 2.5 points. So it's imperative that you turn your homework assignments in on time. Learn Smart modules are extra credit. They are a good study tool. Some of them take 15 to 20 minutes. And what's really cool about them is that it has what's called adaptive learning technology. So if you routinely miss the same kind of question, not the same question verbatim, but the same kind of question over the same topic, it will keep giving you that question over and over again in different forms until you understand it. So I think that's really cool about it. I don't make them as part of your graded assignment work, but I do give you extra credit for them. So each module is 1 point. We have 15 modules in total, 1 for each week, so that's 15 points extra credit for doing those. And they're not due. I would recommend doing them as you're going along throughout the semester. So the Chapter 1 Learn Smart module, I would do a Chapter 1 studies, Chapter 2 and Chapter 2 studies and so forth, but you don't have to have them all completed. I won't pull the grades for those until a week before finals, so you do have some time with that. So that deadline is much more flexible. Each week you'll have a 25-point quiz. They're due on Sunday at 11:59 Central Standard Time, so you see a theme here, discussion board, quiz, and your homework assignment due at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time on Sunday. That's standard for all of your assignments. It's going to cover the material for that lecture that week. If you want to use the publisher's website to kind of quiz yourself prior to taking the official quiz, you're more than welcome to do so. We only have 2 exams in this course. We have a midterm, which is March 11th. Must be taken by 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll open it up probably a couple of days before it's due so that you can schedule when you want to take it. And your final exam must be taken by May 10th and same time. Each one of your exams, both your midterm and your final. Midterm is going to cover the first 8 weeks. The final is going to cover the last 8 weeks. So they're semi-cumulative. So the first half of the semester, you'll have a big test with 150 points, 75 questions, about 75 questions. That's going to be the midterm, and then the last 8 weeks, or I guess 7-ish weeks of the semester, you'll have that information that we cover, and then will be on your final. If you don't complete your quiz or your exam, in the allotted time, any questions that you don't answer will just be as a 0. So you have 2 hours to take it. It's 75 questions, give or take on there. It's more than enough time to do that. You will not have time, however, to look up every single answer. So you're trying to do that and look all the answers up in your textbook. You're not going to have time to do that. So that's why it's important to do the Learn Smart module, to do your homework, and your homework will not be available to print out so that you can use it, and I don't use the same questions from your homework on your final or your midterm exam. So it's important to still study with those flashcards or rewriting your notes and to listen to those lectures. That's also a key element in being successful in this course. For feedback, your quiz and your homework scores, you will get that almost immediately. You'll get it the day after it's due. So they're due on Sunday. You will get those results back on Monday morning. Your discussion board postings, please allow me a week to go through those discussion board postings and to assign scores for those to read them. Clearly, Blackboard and student email are very important in this course, so make sure that you are using your STLCC email. That is the way that the college communicates with you. There is a way for you to forward any emails that come from your MySTL email address to your, hot to trot at yahoo.com or whatever your personal email address is. So there is a way to have those interface with one another and forward those emails, but make sure that you are checking or at least forwarding those emails for STLCC because anything that comes from the college, school cancellations, refund notices, balances, when your grades are coming out for your midterms and your final grades, it's all going to be communicated through that email address. Attendance is tracked through Blackboard, and if you do not participate, that will have you automatically removed from the course. It shows when the last time you've logged into Blackboard and you've done anything, and if you are receiving financial aid, this may affect your financial aid. So like I stated before, make sure that you log into the computer or onto your computer into Blackboard at a minimum of 5 days per week in this course. Use your time wisely. Don't let the work pile up on you. If you don't turn your homework assignments in on time, you will be penalized for that. Same thing with your discussion boards. If you don't have your discussion boards turned in on time, you may be penalized for that as well. So the rest of the syllabus is just looking at what our tentative course schedule looks like, and you'll notice every week we have a different chapter we cover, but the way that that chapter is managed is the exact same all 15 weeks throughout the semester. lecture notes to view, Learn Smart modules, homework, discussion board posting, and make sure that you do your quiz. So midterm will cover chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 13, 14, and 16. And then your final will cover chapters 5, 6, 7, 10, 9, 11, and 17. And so for the miscellaneous information, I won't read all of that. If you have access, author's requirements, please make sure that you give that information to me as soon as possible so that I can make sure that your accommodations are met. So the instructor notifications memo will tell me exactly what it is that you need, and please come and discuss with me anything that you also would need as a requirement, whether it's extended testing time or whatever it may be. Remember, the syllabus is subject to change at my discretion. And also, as a little caveat here, which you're probably very familiar with, lack of preparation on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. So make sure that you are prepared and you are ready to go. But that does not mean that if you don't have questions, please don't hesitate to email me and to let me know any questions that you've asked, so we can make sure that you stay on the right track. The goal for this semester, on my behalf, is for you all to have a really enjoyable experience learning about yourself, learning about the human body and how it works, and just kind of having fun doing it. I am one of those people that I believe learning can be fun, and I think that learning is a more enjoyable experience when we have a good time doing it. So that's kind of my goal for you all. All right, so next thing I'm going to do here is we're going to go over Blackboard as soon as I get to figure out how to get back to where it was. All right, so while I'm trying to figure that out, all right, so what you should be seeing in front of you now is the registration information for McGraw-Hill Connect. This registration information basically just says what the website is, who I am, and this is what you'll need to register for the section. So if we grab a hold of that, and let's open up a new window here. And that wasn't supposed to give me that. It should bring you to search that way. Well, it should have brought you to McGraw-Hill Connect, to where we would look and see our class. So I'm going to have to try to fix that. So if you go to McGraw-Hill Connect and go to Students and How to Register or Get Started here, and you follow these prompts, and you don't want it for students or instructors, you want it for students. So if you already have a McGraw-Hill account, then you can sign in this way. If you don't have a McGraw-Hill account, then you'll need to set one up. And going through the web address that we have on this, that we have listed here should allow you to do that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and go through Blackboard. First page is our first page that we're looking at here is our announcements. And it kind of gives you step by step exactly what you should see. So when you click on that link, you should have seen something that looked a lot like this in order to register. This document here is the exact same document, or actually this will bring you right to McGraw-Hill Connect on there. If you need to register, we'll take the register down and you'll see the following and ask for your email address. So I'm not going to go through all of this because it's pretty straightforward, but these are the screens that you should be seeing and all of that. So that's the announcement page. In the Start Here folder, we have our syllabus, we have the registration information, that PowerPoint that I just showed you all, that's in there as well, how to connect with Blackboard Collaborate, a YouTube video on showing that, and then even this orientation session is also going to be linked here in the Start Here folder. Instructor information would be all of my information, which is also found in your syllabus. And then for the weekly modules, it gives the date, the chapter we're going through, and what's going to be covered. And in each one of those weekly modules, you have your discussion boards, which you can just click on and then go ahead and create your thread and start your discussion. You also have your Learn Smart modules that are in here, as well as your chapter notes. So chapter notes, when you open those up, I'm not going to open it up right now because it will it'll play the recording. You'll have a recording of my voice and it's going over the notes, and it's just the exact same way that if it were a face-to-face class. Then you have your Learn Smart modules, which will send you to McGraw-Hill Connect. So you should have already registered, and then you go ahead and mine looks different from yours because it's the instructor view of it, but what the Learn Smart modules kind of look like, it's something like this. So you have these different questions that you will be able to go over, and then they have like the e-text that's in there as well. So you have all the parts of the e-text, and then you hit practice, and it will give you...
You haven't read anything yet. If you want, you can start to practice to see how well you know the topics in this chapter before you read.
So it gives you some options.
SmartBook will advise you to go back to reading if it looks like you do not know the topics very well.
So the book is embedded in the Learn Smart module. So if you want to go through without reading it, you're more than welcome to, kind of what the little computer lady said. So we're going to get out of this and go back to where we were. Go to Smart Book. And let's go back to Blackboard. And then your homework and your quiz assignments will also link right into McGraw-Hill Connect. So it's doing it for me right now because I'm already registered and I'm already connected to it. So you can just click on these items and you go right to them. As I said before, all of your modules, if you want to work ahead, you're more than welcome to work ahead. I wouldn't overwhelm myself, but if I had free time, I would do extra work if I could do so. Your discussion boards are not only found in your weekly modules, but they're also going to be found in this discussion board so that you can load it, log into that, and answer, or even just a preview what the next week's discussion is going to cover. All right, so that is all I have. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to email me. And I look forward to having a really good semester with you all. And I hope you're looking forward to doing the same, to having a good semester where we learn some stuff and we have a good time while we do it. All right, so happy January, happy New Year, happy Tuesday, happy beginning of the semester, and I hope the rest of your classes today, your classes this week, are everything that you intended for them to be. All right, so I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.